Fort Monroe National Monument preserves one of our country's most important historic sites. Fort Monroe, the largest masonry fortification ever built in the United States, covers 63 acres on Old Point Comfort. It guarded the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay. Jamestown settlers built the first fort here in 1609, and the peninsula has been fortified ever since. The strategic importance of these waters is apparent today. Visitors can watch surface, ships, and submarines of the U.S. Navy from the walls. Construction of Fort Monroe began in 1819 and continued until 1834. The massive walls and bastions are built of stone. Future Confederate General Robert E. Lee, then a U.S. Army engineer, helped supervise their completion when he lived at the post from 1831 to 1834. Much of the heavy labor was done by enslaved black men. In fact, it was on this site that the first known African slaves arrived in America in 1619. Hundreds of massive cannons were mounted at Fort Monroe, with other guns at Fort Calhoun, now named Fort Wool, and the older Fort Norfolk. They were intended to defend the channel from foreign attack. Unlike Fort Calhoun and Fort Norfolk, however, Fort Monroe never fell to Confederate forces. It was held by the Union through the Civil War. Soldiers watched the battle of the Ironclads between the Monitor and the Virginia, originally the Merrimac, from the walls. Fort Monroe is remembered today as Freedom's Fortress. Although enslaved men helped build it, the fort became a refuge for self-liberated enslaved people fleeing the Confederacy. The first three arrived on May 23, 1861, the day that Virginia ratified secession from the Union. Thousands followed them over the next 4 years. President Barack Obama named Fort Monroe a national monument on November 1, 2011. It is open to the public. Learn more on our website at 2egtv.com. I'm Alan Cox for 2egg TV.